Well, this appears to be a pretty good album if you like bluegrass, and it's getting kind of trendy these days, bluegrass music. You got Billy Strings, you got Sturgill Simpson. There's quite a few of them out right now. Rhonda Vincent's another one. Trampled by Turtles. Chris Stapleton, the Steel Drivers, all playing music like this right now. It's nice and soothing. I bought this Pioneer stereo right here. My wife and I bought this in 1973 or 1974, something like that. Still kicks on, still plays. My turntable's Audio Technica, just got that a few months back. Also my speakers, they say Marantz on them, but they're actually Celestion PA speakers underneath. Had to do a little loving on them a little bit, but we'll get back to that clock in a minute, as soon as this song is over. Hang in there. All right, I got the dial off. Looks like somebody's replaced the face on it. Not too bad of a face. I'm about to glue this down so it lays right. Make sure it kind of lays a little bit better than it did. That's okay though. But to my surprise, it does have a nice Seth Thomas movement in it. Clock's all apart. Just from old age, I guess. Nice Seth Thomas in there. I would say, yeah, this is probably right for the clock. It's an 8-day movement, looks like. Well, I don't know. You know, those springs look kind of small. I guess it would be an 8. It says 8-day on the clock, 8-day and a half-hour strike. But anyway, we'll put this clock together, clean it up, and see what we got. I don't see anything really wrong with the movement. This is all good. I don't know what year this would be. I just lifted the case off the back. Movement intact there, a little easier to get it out of there. All kinds of Christmas lights stored inside the clock. I don't know what that's all about. At least I found two good screws in there. Well, this is what I found. I've got this. I think this pendulum is probably from a New Haven clock. I don't know what kind of pendulum went on this clock, but anyway, I had these pendulum rods right here, whatever you want to call them, adjusters, and they look like they're about the same size. Just put them like this here, or it looks like it's a little short. I'm going to put this one in, and there's a way you can lengthen this a little bit by taking a piece of wire like this and kind of bonding it on here and just making it a little bit longer if need be. Maybe I don't need to do that, I don't know. But this here will never fly. I mean, this thing will be moving around and whatever. Well, I don't know what they're thinking there. But anyway, now let's get to her. I don't know if there's enough light in here to see this or not. Let me see, I got my little handy flashlight that I got from Born in the Barn Antiques the other day. Let me just flip that on. There you go. These are New Haven clocks. That clock right there is from about 1866. See the pendulum? I believe that pendulum to be right, because here's another New Haven clock right here from about 1870. And you can see the pendulum on that. I believe that pendulum to be right. These other two New Havens, these 8-day clocks, they have a little bit different pendulum on them, but turning around here, I believe that's the same pendulum as this one here. So I don't know if Seth Thomas used that same pendulum or what, but we'll see. We'll put her together and see how it acts. All right, I got this old Seth Thomas clock all apart. I want to show you something real quick. The only real tragedy with the outside of the case is this big gouge right here, if you can see that. Now, I can't fix that perfect. Let me point it out to you. There you are. Can't fix it perfect, but what I did do is this. Let me show you how I'm going to fill that in. I took a piece of paper, put it over that, okay? then I took my fingernail and I scored the imprint, okay, like this, of that gouge, okay, like that. Then I don't see if you can see that. You can't even see it. Well, anyway, yeah, I made the imprint of it like this. Then I took it and I taped it on here. Then I took a razor blade, cut out the imprint like this. I've already done it, and here's where I cut it out right here. This is a old piece of oak paneling, oak veneer paneling I had laying around. And so what I did was I ended up taking the razor blade and scraping the veneer off of it very carefully. Ended up with this little piece right here, if you can see that. There you go. Now this little piece, let me move over to the light here, will fit into this hole right here. Now it's a little different color right now, but that's okay because we got some stain and we're gonna do a little real fine sanding on that, and sure, you'll still be able to see it, but at least you won't have a big hole there, a big gouge there. Yeah, before I place that little piece of wood in that hole there, that little plug I made, I'm gonna put some of this in the hole. It's Durham's water putty mixed with, I always mix too much of it. I don't know why. It mixes with water, and I always put a little water there, and you just mix too much. But I'm gonna put that in that hole and then float that little piece of wood right on top of that. I've got that little wood insert in there. Let me get a close up. Now what I'm going to do is, it fits pretty good. It's a little shy on the top, but hey, it's better than it was. It needs to be stained. But what I'll do is I'll take this little piece of 600 right here and wet it down a little bit. I'll sand it so it's nice and even. I can feel it right here. And then when I get that done, I'll take this piece of 1000 I got right here, and I'll go over it. Then when I do that, after I do that, I'll take this piece of very fine steel wool and I'll go over that, and then buff it out a little bit. I try not to get down into the finish here. What I'll do is try to put a little acrylic or something on this after I get it stained. And I doubt if it'll match perfectly, but at least there's not a gaping hole in there. Alright, I'm coming along with this old Seth Thomas clock. Got the movement out, got it all cleaned up. It needs to be wound. I believe it'll run. I haven't oiled it yet or anything, but I believe it'll run. Springs look a little unwound. I fixed that little nick in the, this is as good as it's going to get for me, my expertise, but that's about what it looks like right there. I don't know if you think that's good or not, but it's better than a big gouge in it, I guess. So I'm going to get this thing put back together, and I think it's going to be, for what I paid for this clock, I don't think I did too bad. This is solid. Everything, all the bushings, everything is solid. No wear on this thing. I did put the suspension spring in. I put a new one in because I had one, and I had a new one, so while I had it apart, I just threw that in. And then I had this. I kind of extended this out a little bit. A little solder, I don't know. That's the longest one I had in my stuff, and I think it needed to be a little bit longer than that. If not, I'll take that off of there, but I think that'll do it. All right, everybody, got the movement back in there. Looks like it's going to be a good runner. The way I just screwed it in there, and it started running like this, so got a good movement in it. Let's hang this on, see what happens. Look at that, we don't even need a face. That looks better anyway. Kind of like one of those visible engines we had when we were kids there. Man, that thing sounds good. Tuned up already. I didn't even have to bend the crutch or anything. This table is fairly level. It's not exactly level, but it's fairly level. No, it's just about right. Here's a little something I wanted to show you. Well, I'm putting I want to call that the head. I don't know why. While I'm putting the dial on. When you're putting the dial on a clock, to line up the screws and everything, I've got these 2 clock winding keys, various sizes. I put 2 of them on the winding arbors like that. Then make sure this is centered right here. And maybe when you do that, maybe the screw holes aren't even in the same spot as to when you got the clock. But you want everything centered, because when you get it together and you go to wind it, well, you don't want to have to try scooting the dial over or winding the clock. You know, try to get it in there crossways and rubbing it up against here, because damage could result. So this is a good idea to kind of center everything up. All right, the old Seth Thomas is all put together, all complete. Not much of a fancy clock, but it is kind of a nice little clock. I really need to order this part. Kind of doesn't look right, but it's working. Face is not too bad. I only paid about 40 bucks for this clock. Tell you the truth, but was kind of interested in it. I guess it's an old one. I'm going to check and see what it is, like I said. Got the back and reinstalled. I hate to move it around while it's running. That's stupid. But there you are. Back's back on it. It's not hanging apart. Little chip is repaired there as best I could get it. And there you have it. All right, there it is, all set. Have to just check it a couple of days to see how the time is going. Got it running, got the beat right. Didn't even have to adjust the beat, really. Got this fancy schmancy label right here in the inside, if you can see that. All right, thanks for watching this.